Welcome to take two of a yoga class here. And we're doing yoga during a pandemic. So bodies are really tight, lives are really tight, your mind is really tight. And we are shifting right now, and we're shaken still, trying to figure out the balance. But it's important to find messages that resonate with your heart. And I've been listening to Brother David Steindl Rast talk about gratitude. And it's important to say, as he does, that we can't be grateful for everything, but we can be grateful in every moment. He says that joy is the happiness that doesn't depend on what happens. So we need to find that way to figure out our joy. And so our class today is called Expanding Your Capacity for Joy. Joy is steady. Joy is ever present. Joy is available in perpetuity. But how? He explains it the same way I explain Shri. Shri means in yoga that the perfect can become more perfect. Shri says that you can always ask for more. Our brains, our joy, our breath, and lungs all work this way. At first, when you are flexing your joy muscles or your brain or lung muscles, it may feel that you only have a tiny cup. But this is like bringing a Dixie cup to the ocean, right? Because the ocean is huge and you can do a little bit more, right? Each time. When you fill up your tiny cup with happiness, the cup may overflow and then you'll be happy for a second, then you might get sad again. When you fill this cup with joy and then joy becomes a part of you, your tiny cup grows just a little and then you add more joy. And the cup grows again and again and again and again and again until you have a huge capacity for finding your joy. You just keep expanding. When the joy stays contained, the container grows bigger. Once you have this gift in perpetuity, then the problems or concerns that you previously dashed you are just a mild concern or a call to action. I'm upset. What should I do about it? I'm sad. How should I handle it? Right? Instead of just thinking, I'm sad, and that's the end. Being joyful makes us come alive. Coming alive is spirituality. Breathing helps us stay alive. Brother Steindl Rast says to stop sightseeing and to start smelling. It will make you come alive. In this moment, we will take this message literally. When you take a long breath and then an even longer breath, because you are smelling the best thing ever, like a flower or an amazing food smell, you might stop and inhale it, like you never want to forget. We'll do that in class. We will inhale and flex our lungs with muscles and memories. Do your homework on COVID-19, on lungs and breathing. COVID-19 requires us to flex our joy and our breath and our brains. So with that, we will now go to the next step, which is the asana practice. And I will be doing the class silently, and then my voice will go over it so that you can either just listen or you can watch and listen, whatever you'd like to do. Thank you so much. Namaste.
So we're going to start off by rolling this golf ball underneath your foot to get all of the tension, moving in the low back with letting go around the feet, the arches of the feet, getting those muscles warmed up. And this helps with hamstrings and the gastrocnemius. You can roll your toes on the ball. Any golf ball will do. If you didn't have a golf ball, just push pause and go get one, or skip this part until you can have your golf ball. And you're just rolling your foot around on the golf ball and getting into maybe some deeper points. As you start doing this, at first you can feel little things, and then sometimes you start to get even deeper. It starts to feel really like you're doing some stuff and doing some reflexology work too. So again, stretching those toes out, you get some sinus pressure points there with reflexology, the marma point. And then when you're done, just move your ball protectively into the hole of a camera. All right, so now you're going to come up to your front of your mat. Second toes are straight ahead, feet are hip width apart. And then inhale, take those arms way up. And then you can fold, bend the knees a little as you go down. Just be nice to your low back. This has been a challenging time. So you're into hands and knees. For cat, you can wiggle around, make sure everything's in the right place, and then come into a neutral back. And then as you start to drop down, you inhale, exhale, and curl. See if you can pull in on that low belly, round the low back, and inhale, come back up. Exhale and curl, chin into the chest, really round the back, and then coming back into center. Inhale, look up. Just enjoy this. Exhale and curl. I love cat-cow. You don't have to have any skill, and you basically can't hurt yourself. Back to neutral. And then inhale, take your right arm up, gaze way up to that right hand, come down and through, land on that right shoulder. The left elbow stays at a 90-degree angle so that you can push just a little bit with that left hand and see if you can get a good stretch through the back body. Pulling that stomach in, twisting, hitting a little bit into a twist, right? This is a good starting twist. Come back to center and then inhale, take your left arm up, way up high, and then down and through. Land on that shoulder. Other elbow at a 90-degree angle, and you can push just nice into that right hand and see if you can get your shoulder blades to release. Low belly can pull in. You can get some more twist through the center. And then as you feel ready, coming back up. Back into neutral back. Pull the stomach in, curl the toes under, and then you can lift the knees. So you're kind of into a puppy dog. Can pop that tail, and then you can start to pull the low belly in, get the back to stretch out. You can see that my shirt wrinkles went away as I stretched my back. That's what you would see if you're getting long through that back body. I'm kind of just playing here in down dog. I just sort of bend my knee and lift my leg up to see if I can get my hips to pop, and then back into the center. You can bend the knees again, pop the tail again, work on your low back again, work on the long side bodies, working toward getting those heels down. And then you can give it a nice long stretch. This down dog, there's no end to growing with your down dog. Couple more breaths, and then you can walk your feet forward. As you come forward, fingertips, right? And then your weight is into fingers and toes. Inhale as you lift up halfway-ish. And then exhale and bow, curl. So you can see where my head is right there. As I inhale, lift up. When I exhale, curl, it's not coming into my legs. So as you are moving through this pose, through the class, you'll see that my head can get closer into my legs each time. It's just warming up. You'll do the same. Inhale as you come up, low belly in, hands back into prayer position. Second toe straight ahead, feet hip width apart. Inhale, take your arms up overhead. Good, get long through those sides and then come back down. We're going to do this 10 times, just the arms and the breath. So inhale, take your arms up. Exhale and come down. So this is kind of a tricky way to get some breath work in, is just to inhale with your arms coming up, exhale down. Again, this is one of those things where anybody can do it. It doesn't take a lot of skill, a lot of effort, and you can just move your way through the poses just nice and slowly. Just make sure you're doing that breath, because part of our class today is about keeping the lungs stretched. So all the muscles that surround your lungs, remember 60% of the lung power is in the back body. So that's why patients who are in the hospital with COVID are being flipped onto their stomachs so that they can get the most out of their lungs. So keep that in mind as you do these stretches. You're really trying to lengthen all the way through the ribs, through the back ribs, through the lungs, back into the center. And inhale as you come up. Get longer each time. Exhale. I bet I grow about an inch when I do this. One can hope. So now, as you are ready to get into your next pose, you're going to bend the knees and pop your tail, then scoop that low belly in, and then pull the ribs in and back. Keep the tail popped, and then stand up again. It's hard to do this. Once you have pulled your ribs in and your stomach in, it's hard to keep the tail popped. So you're going to pop the tail, pull that low belly in, pull the ribs in, keep the tail popped as you come back up. The weight's in your heels here. Good. And then we're going to turn. You can turn. You don't have to turn. I turned so you can see me. I'm going to take my arms out like a cactus pose, and then swing the right arm under the left for eagle pose, Garudasana. So when you're in Garudasana like this, all you're really thinking about here is opening up the shoulder blades, opening up your back. So as you're here taking those nice deep breaths, you're just really giving some space in between the shoulder blades. And if you bend in a little, tuck your head, you're going to get more space through the upper and mid back. And then you can release, take your arms out again, cactus. You can move around as much as you need to. Left arm under. Looks like that side is tighter for me. So as you are here in this pose, be kind to yourself and allow that breath to come in and out. Allow yourself to be tight in places so that you can find some understanding. Tuck that head and breathe through the back body. This is not super attractive, right? It's not always everything shining out and blossoming and sticking our ribs out and our arms. Some of it is to go internal. That's a nice internal pose. Take your arms back up. Take that nice long stretch. And then back to center. Inhale, take your arms up, way up overhead. And then you can start, we're going to do a side twist. So you're going to reach down through your right outer edge of the heel, and you're going to stretch up through that right body, stretch way up high. You're going to stretch the front ribs and the back ribs and lengthen even on the left side. Then come back to center, other side. So I'm going to turn, I think, a little bit here for you so that you can see I'm pushing the left outer edge of my foot, stretching way up high, and I'm trying to get that low back and back of the very lowest part of my lungs to get that big stretch. So if you think along those lines, that really helps. Everything becomes kind of a lung exercise, and that's what so many people need to know during this time. And if you want to, if you can find your thumbs, you can hook your thumbs together, stretch your fingers out. If that feels too tight on your shoulders, just undo the hands again, that's okay. And stretching up and out on this side. The ribs are still pulling in. Both side bodies are growing long through the back and the front. Then back to center, release arms. Okay, now we're to hands. You can interlace the fingers, put your thumbs more mid-back, and then you can bend the elbows and stretch way back with those arms. You're getting some shoulder blade action here, getting a nice, now you really are sticking your heart forward, right, for this one. Put your toes, second toe straight, bend the knees, pop the tail, come down. Those arms fall, and then you can take your hands down to the floor. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale and bow. You can see my head's getting a little closer to my legs because I'm loosening up. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale and bow. And then bend into the knees, hands beside the heels. Take your right leg back into a lunge. So you can lift the tail, rearrange, come back to center. Good. I'm watching my little old neighbor walk down the street. That's why I smiled. And inhale, lift up halfway, melt the heart. Exhale and bow. Oh, what was that flew through the screen? Go ahead and take the left leg back. Good. And you can lift the tail, move around a little bit, come back to the center. Testing everything out, right? It's just kind of like if you were taking your car to the body shop, they might take it for a spin and see what they need to work on. So inhale, lift up halfway, exhale and bow. That's what we're doing during so much of our yoga practice. It's just trying to figure out what's wrong and how to, the best order of operations. So you can stretch way back, front knee 90 degrees, no more, no less. And then come forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale and bow. Bend into the knees, left leg back. So once you get that left leg back, you can stretch around if you still need to. Once your low back gets less tight, it's easier to do these poses. Come forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale and bow. Getting closer with that head. Yay. And then inhale, take your arms all the way up overhead. And release your arms. Okay, so now we're setting my timer for 1 minute for a 1 minute down dog plank push-up. So when you're ready, come on down to the floor, get those hands in good order, and then back to down dog. So down dog is the best way to start your plank because it gives you the good measurement. So now plank, push-up, back to down dog. We've got 1 minute. So sometimes I really just wanted to stay in down dog because it felt so good, but I was trying to not get coaxed into just staying in down dog. Get that push up in, back to down dog, forward to plank, push up. You can notice like sometimes the push up is a little lower, sometimes it's a little higher, just depends on your strength level, right? You don't want to fall below what you're capable of because then the weight is too much on your body. Come back up. Good, starting to get tired, but this is the longest minute ever, as we say in class, so you're just coming back up. And that was it. So now we're back to down dog. Get that nice long stretch in down dog. Take your right leg up behind you, and then down and through. You can place it or you can hop it forward, whatever works. Back to a lunge. Take your hands up. Kind of test out your position there, and then you can take your arms up. You're getting long through the front and through the back. So through, I don't know if I would say like up through the hip bones and then up through either side of the spine. Then you come back down. Then walk forward. Oh, sorry. Nope. Go back. Down dog. Once you're in down dog, you can come take your left leg up and back, up and through, and then go ahead and take your hands to your thigh. Take your arms up. Get that nice long stretch. Good. And then back down and bring your legs forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, come back down. Ooh, that head's getting awfully close and by my legs. That's exciting. And then inhale, lift up. Check your notes. And then take your hands down to the floor and walk back to downward facing dog. So once you're in down dog, you can come forward again to plank. We're going to throw in cobra this time. So come down, then just lower the rest of the way. Point the toes, and then you can start to lift a little bit through the heart. Check things out, right? Because your low back could be tight. So you want to be nice to yourself here. And then you're letting the heart open, extending, right? And then back to down dog. We're going to do this 2 times. Come forward to plank. And then down to push up. All the way down to the floor, point the toes. Okay, wiggle around, snake creeps through the grass, and then you can lift up. Good. On this one, if you feel like you're pretty opened up, you can start to go higher onto fingertips so you can get a little bit more of a back bend. Lift the heart, extend, and then as you come back down, push back, downward facing dog. Bring your legs forward. Stay on fingertips. Inhale, lift up. Exhale and bow. That's my dog yawning behind me. Bend into the knees. And you can take your right leg back into a lunge. Stay on fingertips. And then take your left hand to your left hip. Open the heart for an open twist. Pickle, stop. Good. Stretch way back and then back down to the floor. And then walk forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, bow. And then take your left leg back. Good. Stretch way back in your lunge. Take your right hand to your thigh and then to your, you can go high. And get that nice long stretch if you can reach around whatever furniture is in your way. And then you can come back down and walk forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale and bow, curl. Maybe. Yes. And then take your hands flat. Walk back, downward facing dog. Get that nice long stretch. See if you can keep working on your back. Think about those back lungs, getting that stretch too. We're going into push-up and then all the way down to the floor for Dhanurasana this time. So reach back for your ankles. And then once you get ankles, flex the feet. Okay. Give yourself a moment to take all this in first, and then you can start to lift up. And if you want to, you can rock. This is my favorite pose to do in front of the TV while we're watching TV at night. So I get a lot of that at night. And release those legs and push back. Down dog. So again, getting strong, getting lengthened, getting more open. And then we're doing Vashisthasana A. So turn to the, you're going to turn your right toes to the left. Stack those feet. You can see my big toe metatarsals are stuck together. And then you're lifting the heart open. Good. Keep those hips nice and even. See how they're even? They feel like they're really high. That's the difference between a good Vashisthasana A and a not so good Vashisthasana A. So you're turned to the left toes. You're going to stack the feet. You can see my hand never moved to that right hand. You're lifting up and your heart opens. See that? And my hips are level, but they feel high. If they were low, it would be killing my wrist. So you got to keep those hips up. Good. And then you can come back to the center, back to down dog. Good. At least you're getting warm now. Then you're going to take your right leg forward to a lunge. Take your hands to your front knee and take your back knee down to the floor. You're going to rock off of your kneecap, off of the patella, onto like the little skin above it. Take your arms up. Anjaneyasana. And then you're going to wrap your left elbow on the outside of the right knee and turn open for a twist. Here. While you're here, pull the stomach in. Feel that low back twisting. Feel the stomach twisting. We're like wringing everything out. Come back to the center. Lift the back knee. And then come forward. Back to forward bend. Inhale, lift up. Exhale and bow. Bend into the knees. Take the leg back. Good. And then you're going to take your right knee back now. Right knee is on the floor. Take a breath, get centered. And then you can start to take your arms up overhead. Front knee 90 degrees. Right. Then you're going to wrap. You're going to pull back a little, pull that stomach way in, and pull that right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Take your hands together, open up. Get long. See, your legs are like they're in the splits, but your knees are bent. Anjaneyasana. Good. And then you can come back to center. Lift the back knee, walk back, downward facing dog. And then stretch back one more time, down dog. Take your right leg up behind you. Good. And then come down and through into a lunge. Hands to your front knee. Then you're going to twist and take your back arm straight behind you, the other arm straight in front of you, kind of like you're in a twisted, morphed warrior two with your legs in a high lunge. And come back. And we're going to take the left leg up behind you and come down and through. Hands up to your knee or thigh, and then you're going to turn. Take your back arm out first. It's stretching toward the back heel. Other arm, and then you're getting right into that pose. And then come back down. Walk back, downward facing dog. Child's pose. So in child's pose, your third eye, the center of your forehead, needs to be on the floor. You can separate your knees to do that, or you can get a block to put underneath your head. Fingertips are on the floor with the wrists lifted high, shoulder blades drawing up and onto the back. And just take a couple of breaths here. And when you're ready, you can come up. And then we're getting ready for a twisted half camel. So you're going to take your hand to your heel, and then the other hand is coming up and over, and you're going to look down toward the floor. I'm not doing it yet, but I should. And then come back to center. Reach for your heel. Take the arm, you're going to look over and you're looking down toward your heel because you want this stretch all along your side. And then when you're ready, you can come back in and back to down dog. And take your leg up. You're going to lift it up and then come into pigeon. So once you get into pigeon, see how my toes are all flexed and working? Go up to fingertips, and then I can lift my arms. If you're comfortable, you can do that. If you're not, keep your hands on the floor. But you're really working the inner thighs, the toes, and the knees. Everything is working to keep that lift. It's much too hard to let all that low body just sort of pull into the floor. So you're down on elbows. You can let your head come down to your hands. Pause for a moment. This is always the sweet spot here. Then we're going to lift up and do a twist if you would like to. You can be on your left elbow or you can be straight on your left arm. And then your hand is up to the foot. Curl those toes against the foot. That's a big stretch for your quads, so do consider that. Step back, down dog. Now you're going to take the opposite leg up. Good. Bend that knee, get a little quad stretch here. Then you're going to come down. Good. Can flex those feet. Remember, it's toes and feet, the inner thighs. And then when you're ready, you can take your arms up overhead. So you can see you got some lift through the perineum. You don't need to sink down. You need to be able to lift yourself up. And then come down, elbows. Enjoy the elbow moment. And then you're going to start to get ready for that twist. So you can be on your right elbow or straight arm, and then reach back for the toes. You can wrap those toes around your fingers. Lift the heart open. Start to come back down. Push back to down dog. And then you're going to come down to the floor. Toes open away from each other. Can wiggle around till you get comfortable. Arms down by your sides, palms facing up toward the sky. And just letting your breath come in and out. Coming into total relaxation. If your mind starts to wander, and let it come back, and just allow yourself this time. And start to wiggle fingers and toes. You can take a nice long stretch. Stretch through your fingers, your toes. You can yawn. Pull your knees to your chest, and you can roll to your right side. Fetal position. And just taking another moment as we consider expanding our capacity for joy. And take a nice seat. Hands just in front of your heart to Anjali Mudra. Coming back. Thanks everyone for being part of this. Namaste.